please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Welcome back. Well, it looks like we'll have a minor gap down, and that would mean that Friday's gains, most of them could be gone in the first trade. Would that be a buying opportunity, or is there a bigger trade there? Ashwani Gujral, Sudarshan Sukhani and Mitesh Thakkar now join us. Good morning, gentlemen. Ashwani, what's the trade this morning? Your broad call has been that the correction is over. So do you buy the dips or do you wait for bigger dip?
Good morning, Anuj. First of all, I haven't understood why we are expecting that both the agencies should upgrade us simultaneously. Then what's the difference? Then, upgrade from one agency is as good as upgrade from two. And the other thing is, if they upgrade 6 months from now, then you'll probably get a similar reaction to what we had on the Moody's day. If this upgrade would have come in this soon after a Moody's upgrade, the market would not have reacted similarly, because a lot of this expectation got priced in. Having said that, I think I said on Friday, range hasn't broken out. Chances are we could get to the lower end of the range, which is 10,300. Broadly, Nifty range is 10,300 to 10,400. But gap down, if we get to the lower end of the range, that should be bought into. Particularly, I'm interested in the bank Nifty. If we get to 25,700, which is a possibility, you could have a 140-point gap down, particularly on the bank Nifty futures. That will be a much better buy. Nifty may not fall to 10,300, so that way there isn't much to do on the Nifty. But I think bank Nifty, you could get the lower boundary again today.
Which is what, 25,000, how much, Ashwani?
25,700 to 25,900, 950, that is the range.
Okay. And
chances are we could hit the lower end of the range today.
Fair point. Well, good morning, Sudarshan. What's your trade? Positional long even now?
Yeah, good morning, Latha. Well, yes, the positional long persists and stays. The trend is, short-term trend is up, and today's price action is a little disappointing. I mean, if we are bullish, we always want the markets to go up day after day relentlessly, but that doesn't work out. So we'll just accept that there are days when markets will pause and actually correct. That doesn't change the trend. So if you are long in the Nifty and the Nifty bank, you should be. Stay with the long positions. Otherwise, today's dip is actually an entry point to go long. I can't say where that market decline will stop. So that is a judgment that traders have to do. But the stops now should be raised just slightly. So 10,280 for the Nifty. Below that, we understand that something has gone wrong. And 25,400 for the Nifty bank. So far as the Nifty and the Nifty bank are trading above these levels, at some point we again want to buy them.
Okay, so Sudarshan saying think long. Mitesh, good morning. What is your approach to trade today?
Good morning. My sense is that I have a slightly aggressive stop loss than Ashwini and Sudarshan. 10,320 is the, or 330 thereabouts is the important level for me. That's where a couple of moving averages on the intraday charts converge. Having said that, I think what I would watch out for today is after a gap down, if we see a follow through. If we don't see one, I think then it will be an excellent buying opportunity. Maybe by 9:30, 9:35, you'll be able to take that call. And if there's no follow through, then I think you're basically back into this minor upward drift with choppiness. And today's gap down would be part of that choppiness. And keeping the stop below 10,320, I'll take long positions for 10,450, 480 as the target zone.
Okay, let's discuss some individual stocks then. Ashwani, what's on your list?
Well, Titan is a buy with a stop of 820, target of 855. DLF and the rest of the realty space has been moving higher. That's a buy with a stop of 224, target of 238. Jubilant Food had a fresh breakout. That is a buy with a stop of 1760, target of 1900. Manappuram is a buy with a stop of 102, target of 114. And KEC is a buy with a stop of 320, target of 335.
Okay, thanks a lot. Sudarshan, your trades?
Well, Ajanta Pharma is a buying opportunity. I have given this trade earlier also. I explained that a long 3-month base was being built. That base breakout has already taken place. So the long positions earlier are in money. And if you haven't taken that trade, there's a 3-day small flag now in this stock. In an upswing, there's very minor correction. That correction is also a buying opportunity. There's significantly higher levels if you're a positional trader in Ajanta. And of course, for the short-term trader, you take modest profits, but the money is there. Ashok Leyland is a buy. Ashok Leyland had a rather choppy environment when it fell. That decline seems to be over. A small consolidation is leading to a breakout on the upside. I think there's a buying opportunity here. And finally, Colgate is also a buying opportunity. Colgate had a deep correction. It came down to a very strong support levels. From that support, this is a swing trade and a positional trade. There probably seems to be some momentum on the upside, and it's part of the much favored FMCG group. I also have 2 short sells. Assuming that these short sells are always for the day, don't carry them. But Idea Cellular's big rally seems to be fizzling out. There's a large distribution. The sense is that it is distributing now, and it should probably come back lower. That's a short. And Tata Motors, which has never been a favorite with me, is giving signs that a small rally was simply a relief rally, and the downtrend should renew. But broadly, stay on the long side and take advantage of the dip.
Okay, so that's 2 sells, 3 buys from Sudarshan. Mitesh, let's run through your list. You also like jewelers?
That's right. I do have a jewelry stock in my list, and I think there's some positive chart pattern happening on Titan as well as PC Jewelers, and I've picked up PC Jewelers. So it's a conditional buy. I would want to see the stock get past 385, 386, and then take a call and buy then with the stop at 375 for targets of around 410. A few more buy calls. Axis Bank is a buy, again a conditional buy. Let it get past the pivot levels of 550, 551. Buy then with a stop at 539. Look for targets of 575. Manavaram Finance, which had a good Friday, good intraday chart setup over there. That's a buy with a stop at 104 for targets of 112. And also similar pattern happening on the charts of Oil India, which is a buy with a stop at 362 for targets of 380. And one sell call, that's on ACC. I would sell this with a stop at 1720 for targets of 1655.
Fair point, Nitesh. Thanks for that. Well, just a couple of more stocks. Ashwini, is there anything on L&T? I mean, there's likely to be news-driven moves today. It's our stock of the morning for other reasons. But what does the chart say?
See, not only L&T, but most of infrastructure is moving up. This is the time to build positions on infrastructure, because the second phase, it appears, is beginning on the market, and the second phase is the capex phase. L&T, 1250 needs to be crossed with some momentum. Once that happens, I think you will get to maybe 1300, 1350. Another 150 point move is possible on L&T once 1250 is crossed.
Okay, today definitely it has a tailwind, although the Schneider news is pre-reported. Okay, it's denied.
No, I think I saw a mail that
yes, Mr. Nayak himself has said that it's not happening.
It's not happening.
It's been on for so long. I mean, that whole buzz.
Yeah, I know it's one of the oldest news, but when it gets reiterated, okay, then that tailwind is not there. But
Ashwani, I just wanted, on IT index, Ashwani, that's been in a bull market now. How would you trade that index? It's not that liquid though. And any stock that you would want to trade in IT?
See, IT seems to have bottom now. Bottom does not mean new height. Bottom means that you can have a 10 to 15% type of rally. But, the smaller stocks are doing much better, like, 8K Miles or Sonata Software, Hexaware. Infosys, etc. will move, but, they are not in a bull market. They are just going to the upper end of their ranges. So that way the better traction you will get in mid-cap IT, Tata Elxsi, etc. rather than Infosys or TCS.
Okay. The other sector I wanted to know about was NBFCs. Sudarshan, you have been negative for some time now, but is there any short trade? I mean, barring of course the big boys like say Bajaj Finance and HDFC, among the others, L&T Finance, Shriram, Shrey, in any of these, is there a short trade?
No, Latha, there is no short trade now.
Okay.
I think the decline is probably coming to an end.
Okay. Oh, decline coming to an end. Fine.
Oh, okay.
Yes, that's right.
Ashwini, Reliance, big boy, had a good week last time around. I don't know if that seems to be the only one that's moving in tandem with the oil prices. Otherwise, correlations, instead, I mean, for that matter, aviation stocks, etc., those correlations are getting broken. So RIL, any trade?
See, not only RIL, OIL is also moving up. So several of these oil counters are moving. So chances are now that oil has a higher bottom and is going to cross 64. Once we cross 64, it'll be probably a $1 or $2 type of move. So that's something that you need to prepare for. Reliance made a bottom around 890, 900. So from here, I think it should be 4 figures before long.
Fair point. An important set of fundamental cues coming from the commodity and currency space now. Manisha Gupta joins us to place all that in order. Manisha.
Morning, Latha. Thank you so much for that. Well, it is going quite well for the commodity as a space. Almost every sector is trading on the higher side in Asia, starting with the crude oil prices, and we are trading at a 2-year highs on that, almost at $59 per barrel for the US crude prices, and we are inching closer towards 64 for the Brent as well. For the US crude prices, well, the run-up there has been quite strong, catching up to Brent. You have the Canada-US pipeline shut. 590,000 barrels per day is what passes through that, and that's been shut for a week now. Could take another couple of weeks before that is corrected, and that has been adding premium to prices. Also this Friday, you have the OPEC and the allies meeting. They would decide on what they would want their strategy to be in 2018 in sense of output cuts, and markets are factoring in an extension of cuts, and that's also adding to the premium. So good going when it comes to crude as prices. The metals also are doing well. You have the dollar index trading at a 2-month low. So the gold price is holding around 1290. You have copper prices trading at a 1-month highs as well. It also has to do with the steel prices. They gained 4% in the previous week and have opened firm in Shanghai. And with the steel prices trading on the higher side, all the ingredients like iron ore prices, nickel, zinc, all of that also has opened in the positive in Asia today.
Okay, so it's up and away for those metal prices again. Thanks, Manisha, very much for that. Well, on that note, let's welcome in Sanjeev Bhasin from IIFL. He's with us this morning. Sanjeev, good to have you on the show as always. So let's actually take that metal question up with you, because last week we saw a lot of profit booking coming in pretty much, across the board, ferrous and non-ferrous. How would you look at metals now?
Yeah, morning. So we think the metal trade, is in a weak spot for the time being. I think there is a lot of concerted profit booking, and we've seen that both locally and from foreign institutions, that some of the metal counters which have been outperformers are under a little bit of under a little bit of stick, and that may continue. The other caveat is that oil is raring to go up, and that it has seen the dollars weaken a bit. But the long dollar and short metal trade, I think, is being played out. So globally, 2-3 things are playing out. One, South African local currency debt had been reduced to junk rating, which I think will put pressure on emerging markets. And as a corollary to that, you could see some more unwinding in the metal counters, both on the ferrous and on the non-ferrous side.
Okay, that's an important point to note. Okay, Sanjeev Bhasin, good morning. Thank you very much for joining us. Let me look at the green side of things. Is that in the IT space? We were just discussing with our technical experts as well. Infosys now reaching the pre-Sikka level. Infosys and other IT stocks.
Yes, Latha, it's been an excellent contrarian trade. If you did trade, TCS and Infosys close to that 900 mark. TCS has been an outperformer, almost up 12% from the lows of 25.50. We still think that the best trade over here is getting a basket of stocks. Our top pick over here continues to be HCL Tech in the heavyweights, where we think stellar numbers will come in this quarter and beyond, after the one-off which they had on a particular account. The other real fire would be in the mid-cap IT place, that's the likes of Tata Elxsi and Mindtree. So as a basket, like you pointed out, I think IT should be the star of at least this week and beyond. As we see bond yields rear up above 7%, I think financials and NBFCs would be definitely under pressure.
Sanjeev, your thoughts on whether there's anything still left to play in the jewelry stocks? They've already had a dream run because of the strong numbers that we saw from Titan. Even PC Jewelers has had that rub-off shown up. Now there's talk of some sort of a gems and jewelry package. Would you still advise buying these stocks?
Yeah, so Surbi, a large part of that may have played out, but for us it's been Titan and PC Jewelers, and we stick to that. Try and stick to the two bigger brand names. In the smaller one, you'll have a lot of higher debt and low quality stocks moving up. and that is where you have to be a little cautious because the Nifty is anyway at a precarious point. So like you said, I think if you want to play this space, you'd have to play a little bit higher, more valuations, but you want to be in firmer stocks like Titan and maybe a PC Jeweler on decline.
Okay. Sanjeev, good morning. What about Reliance? It's had a correction and now almost back to its highs.
Yeah, so Anuj, the best play on the higher oil prices is, Reliance. The other upstream companies is Oil India, which has been on a tear. ONGC again ran up from 160 to 200, but I think over ownership by LIC puts a little dampener. Like you said, I think the upstream companies seem to be in a good space. We would be cautious on some of the oil marketing companies, even though we've seen HPCL defy the odds. We still think that downstream OMCs could be under pressure, but yes, Reliance is the bellwether which is leading the Nifty up, and that is one stock which has been making new highs on a regular basis.
Okay, well, do stay on, Sanjeev. We have a lot to ask you, even about the insolvency code and the changes. But let's just dwell a little bit on the changes brought about by the ordinance to the insolvency and bankruptcy code. It's obviously come in with a very big change, not just willful defaulters, but even those promoters whose assets are in NPA for over a year are set to lose their companies. My colleague Ritu Singh spoke with MS Sahu, the chairman of the bankruptcy board, and here are some observations from this gentleman.
We are not trying to keep out any particular set of people. We are not talking about the existing promoters. We are only talking about the resolution applicants. If a resolution applicant has any NPA on any bank,
right,
or any corporate debtor,
yeah,
so that means it's not limited only to promoter. If the resolution applicant has any NPA for 1 year, he is still welcome to do it if he clears the dues before he submits the resolution plan.
But, going by, the top 25% of the NPAs where most of these accounts are NPAs for more than a year, which effectively leaves out the promoters from bidding for these companies. Now, the counter argument here is, has the government done fair by these promoters by keeping them out when some of these circumstances were beyond their control? One. Two, does it not impact the price discovery of the asset when promoters were seen to be, one of the most aggressive bidders for these assets are now kept out? So it gives somewhat of a, an easier play for the other bidders that are looking to acquire these assets.
See, the very focus of this law is maximization of value of his assets of the corporate debtor.
Yeah.
We are talking about the company should continue to exist, should prosper, should serve the country in perpetuity.
Okay, well, so that's one bidder less, it looks very clearly, for the big steel companies. Some of them are trading. Sanjeev, what's your take? Would you dabble in these assets at all?
So, Latha, the ARCs have been a prominent phase, but were very, very under capitalized, and there was no ascent on them. I think asset reconstruction companies would be the flavor of the next few years, and we've seen a lot of NBFCs and brokerage houses getting into that. I think ARCs would be in a very, very big and a sweet spot, given that some of the assets mismatched with base prices are extremely attractive. Say steel, for example, where steel stocks are, where inventories are, and where excess capacity is not coming up. I think that would be a very, very sweet spot. So like I said, given the how that promoters would not be able to participate, that cuts out one leg. So I think the biggest gainer would be a good asset reconstruction companies, and I am seeing because the markets are stretched, a lot of money coming into these ARCs, which I think will be the flavor of the next few years.